Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Julesworks Dirty 30. Yeah! Practice applauding now. You won't have any opportunity to do so later. I'm your lackluster host, Chris Diesler, but the entertainment will be fabulous. We're dedicating this show again, unfortunately, to a friend who recently passed away. This show is dedicated in memory of Jeremy Radovic, and we also thank Sam at Opera Houses for donating food from Jeremy's memorial to our rehearsal. Rest in peace, Jeremy. Sam, if you're here, hang tough. I am told that the bar mistress, Nicole Ulrich, has developed a special drink in honor of the Hitchhiker skits that we do called the Pan-Galactic Gargle Blaster. Something fit only for someone with two heads, like Zaphod Beeblebrox, but it's made with Bacardi, Blue Curacao, and sweet and sour, and Sprite. It actually sounds kind of good, but probably shouldn't have too many of those. This is not grade school. You don't need to raise your hand if you need to excuse yourself to go use the facilities or to go get a Pan-Galactic Gargle Blaster or some of the famous and tasty organic popcorn that the Jean Cocteau serves. Just kind of be quiet about it. Come and go as you please. There will be an open slot toward the end. Anyone interested in performing during the open slot, if you have a 1 or 2 minute reading that you would like to do, or a song, as long as it's nice and short, we'll get you up. And if you want to be in a longer something or other, or in a whole bunch of longer something or others, be sure and contact Jules at your convenience. His email is srubinfilms@gmail.com. That's SRUBIN films@gmail.com. We'll try to get at least one new performer in every show, and we have at least one tonight, so that's going to be cool. All right, maybe. Where'd you go? There's so much light. We have the return tonight of vaudevillian Watts Faller. All right, we're going to open with a song.
Watts Faller. Best thing since the invention of electricity. I'd like to thank you all for being here tonight and supporting the comedy scene here in Santa Fe. It's really exciting, especially after living in New York. And we're not funny. That's the funniest part of the act. Okay.
That's our most expensive piece of equipment.
So this is a song about your mom telling you not to play with someone else's food because it's dirty. It's called I Ain't Gonna Give Nobody None of This Jelly Roll. I ain't gonna give nobody none of this jelly roll. I won't give you a piece of cake to save your soul. Oh, my mama told me today when she went away, if you be a good boy, I will bring you a toy. I am her pride and joy. There ain't no use in you to keep on hanging around. I love you, darling, but I had to turn you down. My jelly roll is sweet. It's surely hard to beat. I know you want it, but you can't have it, and I ain't gonna bring you none. Oh, ooh, fruity pebbles and green beans and
need a little bit of audience help for the three-headed wizard. This is an improv skit that we do every now and then. The three-headed wizard knows all, can answer any question. Do I have a question from the audience for the oracle? Christine?
What's happening on Venus?
Can you guys roll with that? Or do we need a little more something? We need a little more something. What else? We're going to use Venus, but what else could be part of the question, Scott?
What's under the cloak?
Wizard, why don't you come check it out?
The question is, what's going on under Venus's cloak?
Well, as you know, Venus is often portrayed protruding from a clamshell. So if you were to venture beneath this cloak, you might
have your mind blown into pieces, filled with such luscious, seething
womanry. She's a devil in a dress, that Venus. She will lure you in with her beauty, and then once she rains diamonds from her vagina, you will never, ever stare again into the region which had no name.
can react in volcanic eruptions, which can turn everything gray, blue, just like the sky, and as dark as the moon, and as dirty as my mama.
Minded. She was a nice lady, but a bit vulgar. Yes, so underneath the cloak of this Venus is both everything you desire and treachery. Treachery unbeknownst to history. Which makes absolutely no sense, and anyone that laughs really should be examined. By Venus.
Once you enter below this cloak, you will disappear and explode into
A three-headed oracle, for we once explored that dark cloak.
Thank you. All right, now that you have the idea, give me another silly question.
Something dumber.
Why are giraffes' necks so long?
Very scientific question. Why are giraffes' necks so long?
Back in the day, long before man, giraffes had necks that were short, but 1-2 foot high, and those
little people from the anthills came up and got a rope to wrap their jaws, and yet Mr. Jaws and actually
came upon the theory of Lamarckism.
What?
Lamarckism. Lamarckianism, I don't know. But the point is that the giraffe would continually stretch its neck to reach higher and higher leaves on the tree. And the impotent giraffes with low necks, they all passed away. They were no longer part of the circle of life, as they were replaced by the necks
of straight, stiff necks, because the more bendy kind of necks would allow them to clean their asses, but that would have been too unsanitary.
Which leads us to social Lamarckism, which is a stretch. That social Lamarckism stated that should you clean your ass with your bendy neck, you will no longer participate.
Your ass is grass.
And social decline was premeditated.
Very silly, three-headed oracle. Done by Jam originally, it is called Thick People. And it occurs to me that I need an intro on time. Aha! It's a niche business We specialize in providing thick people for jobs they're particularly good at. Arguments. Thick people are very good at winning arguments because they're too thick to realize they've lost. Rowena's particularly thick. She's one of our top earners. She is very good with officials. She fails to grasp anything. Least of all, she's being thick.
All right, ma'am. So it's not your car, ma'am?
No, it's Mr. Hunter's car, and I'm not Mr. Hunter.
Okay, well, fill this form out. It'll be £165.
It's worth a lot more than that. It's worth about £12,000.
No, £165 is the fine you have to pay.
I don't see why I should have to pay £165 when Mr. Hunter paid at least £12,000.
Look, you're not getting it. Mr. Hunter was parked in a restricted area.
Right.
Do you know what a restricted area is?
No.
A restricted area is an area where there are parking meters. Do you know what parking meters are?
Yes, I know what a parking meters are.
All right, well, Mr. Hunter's parking meter was over time.
He hasn't got a parking meter.
The one he was at.
He was at a meeting.
Mr. Hunter's car was at a parking meter and he didn't put enough money in it, right?
He puts his money in the car.
Well, he should have put it in the parking meter. He put money in parking meters.
No, he puts it in the tray.
Well, look, all I'm saying is he should have put money in his parking meter.
And I'm saying Mr. Hunter puts the money in the car.
I'm not talking about the car, I'm talking about the parking meter.
Why?
Because he didn't put enough money in the parking meter.
But it's not a parking meter, it's a car.
I know it's not a car, for Christ's sakes!
Mr. Hunter doesn't drive around in a parking meter.
I know he doesn't drive around in a fucking parking meter, you stupid woman! All right. You can take the car. There you go. Off you go.
I can take the car.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much.
Right. Can you please leave?
You know, you didn't have to yell at me like that.
Yeah, the door's over there.
You wouldn't happen to provide car washes, would you?
Please leave.
Because it got quite dirty there on the street.
Stop this.
For quite a while, and I should probably get going though because Mr. Hunter might be waiting for me. Lovely boots.
Next, it must be Jules and Rommel with a bit of Fry and Laurie.
Nice hat.
I'll have another one, please, barman.
Are you sure?
What?
No offense, but it'll be your seventh.
You just keep them coming,
Okay. Your funeral.
bitch.
Excuse me?
My wife.
Ah, right.
She doesn't understand me. She's never understood me.
What, Polish or something, is she?
Have you ever been trapped in a loveless marriage with a woman you despised?
Ooh, not since I was 9. Would you like it straight up, sir?
What?
Or with ice?
Oh, ice.
Cocktail onion?
No thanks. She takes no interest in my friends. She laughs at my
Peanuts?
hobbies. No thanks. She doesn't even value my
Crinkle cut cheesy, what's it?
career. Thanks. It's just so depressing. All right, some men have got larger
Plums?
salaries, and other men have got better cars and better prospects, and more can boast a healthier
Stool?
lifestyle. All right, so I don't have that much cash lying around, but why complain? Others are worse off. I've got a job. I've got 2 sweet rosy
Nibbles?
children. But she's always going on at me about my appearance. It's not as if she's an oil painting. I mean, frankly, she's
Plain and prawn flavored.
not as young as she used to be herself. I don't know why I bother with women. I'm better off being a
Fruit?
monk or something. A hermit. At least if I was a
Fag?
monk, I wouldn't have to deal with women who could tuck the back legs off a
Camel?
donkey. Of course, the trouble is I couldn't live without women. In a monastery, the best you can hope for is a bit of
Chocolate hobnob?
spirituality and peace. And let's face it, we haven't slept together for years. I'm lucky if I get a bit of
Savory finger?
a cuddle at Christmas. And naturally, she won't let me give her as much as a
Good juicy tongue in the back passage.
hug, peck on the cheek. The trouble with that woman is she's just a
Rather disgusting looking tot that should be thrown out ages ago?
complainer. One more for the road, I think, barman.
Anything to go with it?
Yes, a bag of oral sex if you've got one.
Next up, Caitlin Alexander, who has to go to another gig. So we're hurrying quite quickly. Hey, where's your other gig?
Up for roll.
All right.
Go see her after we're done.
8:30.
Well, don't go 8:30.
Why not?
Because we'll be here.
Oh! Whoops. Wait until the end. We'll be singing all night. Okay. All right, so this is another Irish tune, since, yeah, that's kind of what I do sometimes. Anyway, so, this one's called I believe it's called The Lowlands of Holland. Yeah, okay. All right. On the night that I was married, and upon my marriage bed came a bold sea captain, and he stood at my bedhead, saying, "Arise, sunrise, young worthy men, and come along with me to the lowlands of Holland to fight the enemy." Oh, now Holland is a lovely land, and upon it grows fine grain. Sure it is a place of residence for a soldier to remain, where the sugar cane grows plentiful, and the tea grows on each tree. Well, I never had but the one sweetheart, and now he's gone far away from me. I will wear no stays around my waist, no combs all in my hair. I will wear no scars around my neck, for to save my beauty fair. And never will I marry, not until the day I die, since these foul winds and these stormy seas came between my love and I. It wasn't too funny, but have a good night.
Wow.
Yeah.
From out of the light he comes. Patrick Chavez. Do you need a microphone?
Yeah, no. Right on. Hey, well, that was cool. Nice to be here. I usually tell stories about my daughter Zoe, and tonight I just want to do something a little bit different. So I present by Claire. I know I was going to butcher her name. Claire, Hutch, and Bishop, the 5 Chinese brothers. Long ago in a land far off in China, there was a family of 5 brothers. There was music in the background. From whence it came we knew not. The first brother, he was the main provider for the family. And he had the ability to suck the ocean. He could suck the whole ocean. Holy crap. But he couldn't do it for very long, but he could. And that's how the family, they prospered. They'd go out and, on different times, different parts of members of the family. He had 5 brothers, his mom, dad. I'm not sure exactly what happened to him. But one day while he had the ocean in his mouth, right? This little kid came up and he's like, he was amazed. And so, he let the water go and he talked to the little boy and he goes, yeah, well, what are you going to tell a little 5-year-old, 6-year-old kid when you got the ocean in your mouth and there's like all the fish flopping around, right? So the little boy asked him if he could stay. Next time he came out and he said, no. The little boy persisted. Come on, we're a poor family. Come on, dude, you can really help us out, bro. So no, finally he agreed. So the next day, early in the morning, about 7 o'clock in the morning, he went to the ocean by the side in his normal, really secluded area, so nobody would see him drinking the whole ocean. And the little boy was there with him, and he said, okay, when I go like this, because I can't hold it all that long, and when I go like that, come back. And the little boy, I promise I'll come back, I promise. So he goes, all right. And water filled his whole head, and his whole head had this big old giant glob, and there was no water in the ocean, just fish flopping around. The little kid ran, had a basket, put some here. Oh, look, he found little jewels. Oh, look, clams, oh, delightful, everything. He kept putting it in his pockets, and then he pulled out a sack, and he was filling that up, and Chinese brother. The little boy waved to him and kept going, and he's getting frantic as he can. And the little boy just keeps going on, and finally after, you can only hold the ocean so long, right? Water levels kind of swayed and swerved and got back to their normal rhythms, and fortunately the little boy was gone. So he went into town and told the local authorities what had happened, that the little boy was with him and he drowned, and they had a hearing and they said that he was going to be, the punishment was to have his head chopped off. And he said, but you don't understand, I was trying to kid him and he just kept going out and he didn't want to pay him. Well, you have this here, right? You are liable for somebody else's child when they're in your care. If something bad happens to said child, probably not going to happen good to you, right? So they're going to chop his head. So he asked the court and the elders if he could go home and talk to his mom and give her one more farewell. She was getting rather up in years, and he was allowed. And so he went home and talked to the family and found out they were going to chop his head off. So guess what? The next brother goes, I got this one, dude. They're all Chinese. They're the same, right? They're 5 Chinese brothers. And had different effects, right? And so his neck was made out of a rod of steel. There's no way you could chop it with an axe. So the next day he shows up. Gets down in kneeling position, right? Big old guy comes up with his axe. Bing! Nothing happens. Axe goes flying off. Tries it again. They try using saws, everything they could think of. Nothing. So they looked at each other and said, all right, well, we know you're guilty. We know you knew what you did. We kind of believe you about the little kid, but still, it's your responsibility for that little kid's life in the ground because of something you did, and you gotta have your head chopped off. Didn't work, so now we're gonna go ahead and just let you on the fire. Please, can I go home and see my poor mother? once more before I die. Yes, so he goes home. Go, guess what? Third brother is fireproof. I will go in your place. So they all are happy with each other. The next day that he shows up, they piled logs and bigger logs and huge, huge bonfire. And in the middle of it, they tied him with rope. And then they lit it. It crackled and it roared. And pretty soon the fire engulfed everything. It burned on and on like that for 4 hours and 38 minutes. I have time. Finally, the fire stopped. The elders went in with shovels, dug the coals away. And then pretty soon, there he is. Oh my gosh, I haven't slept so comfortably. Oh, it's just the right temperature. Oh my gosh, thanks, that was wonderful. And they're like, whoa, so now they get together again, the elders and officers, they all get together and they think, let's supply him the basic need of every person living on the planet is oxygen, right? You need to breathe. Well, we will deny, you're denied power to breathe. So the third brother kind of begs and pleads to go visit his mom, and he does. Of course, his brother that could hold his breath infinitely just happened to be hanging out, pulling some weeds around. He said, you know what, dude, finish pulling this patch of weeds and I'll take over. All right. Next day he goes in, and they build a special oven, and they put him way in the back. Then they start filling it with creams and different sugar, because they couldn't think of really, what to stuff him in. It's not like they were going to just go in and, choke him. They had to figure out some way to humanely do it, right? So they filled it up, and they filled it up. Pretty soon the cream was just going everywhere. And they closed the door, and they latched it, and they waited all night. All night. The next morning, about 6:30, 7 o'clock, everybody was really wondering what was going to happen. So guess what? They all went down there, and lo and behold, he comes out. They opened the door, and there was so much cream, and it had gotten kind of melty, you know what I mean? Because he was in there and stuff, trying to figure out, just hanging out. But when the door opened, the vacuum threw all of the whipped cream out. And there he comes out, and he lands on the floor, and they all look at each other. Ha ha, we got him now, right? He rubs his eyes, shakes himself off, grabs a little handful of this sweetened cream deliciousness and took a big bunch and said, what else would you like? We already told you what's happened. It wasn't really my fault, but it was, right? So we're just going to throw you to the bottom of the ocean. So they tie him up with ropes, and before they tie him up with ropes, let me take a step backwards. Thanks, all right? All right, now we're back at this part of the story, right? So he has to go home, he goes home, and when he gets there, guess who should happen to be there? But his other brother, the fifth brother, who had the amazing ability to stretch his legs as long as he could possibly go. So they load him up, unbeknownst to the people in the boat. Load him up. Go out as far as they can. They rowed. He's all tied up, and no way he could get out. But as he strained the ropes, of course, those broke off pretty quickly, right? And then his legs just started to grow. And he was just kind of below the water line, and then pretty soon, there's the ocean, right on. So he starts walking along, right? And then he pops his little head out now, and they see him, and they figure he's dead, and in the meantime, he's walking all the way back up to the shore. He gets to the shore, and they're just confounded, perplexed, flummoxed, had no idea. I don't know. They just didn't know what to do. And they said, well, maybe, just maybe, he's telling the truth, and he did everything he could to save that little boy. I remember that kid. He was a little shit. I know that guy. Yeah, no. Maybe it's better this way. So after all was said and done, the Chinese brother who swallowed the ocean, his brother happened to have a metal neck, and then another one could burn for days and not breathe and stretch. They finally decided to let him go free. And that is the story of the 5 Chinese brothers. Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, we're going to continue our reading of the original radio play of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
For the benefit of the man in the booth, we are now going to run The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
We join our merry band on board Zaphod Beeblebrox's Heart of Gold ship. Our heroes, heroines, and automatons have just narrowly escaped being blown to tiny bits by a thousands-year-old automated missile defense system.
Wow.
Oddly, no one seemed to make much of a fuss about what has come before.
Another thing that no one made too much of a fuss about was the fact that against all probability, a sperm whale had suddenly been called into existence, some miles above the surface of an alien planet. And since this is not a naturally tenable position for a whale, this innocent creature had very little time to come to terms with its identity as a whale before it came to terms with suddenly not being a whale at all. This is what it thought as it fell.
What's happening? Excuse me, who am I? Hello, why am I here? What's my purpose in life? What do I mean by who am I? Calm down, get a grip now. Oh, this is an interesting sensation. What is it? It's sort of a yawning, tingling sensation in my... Well, I suppose I better start finding names for things if I want to make any headway in what for the sake of I shall call an argument, I shall call the world. So let's call it my stomach. So, a yawning, tingling sensation in my stomach. Good. Ooh, it's getting quite strong. And hey, what about this whistling, roaring sound going past what I'm suddenly going to call my head? That's... wind, is that a good name? Oh, maybe I can find a better name for it later when I find out what it's for, because there certainly seems to be a hell of a lot of it. Hey, what's this thing? Let's call it a tail. Yeah, tail. Hey, I can really thrash it around pretty good, can't I? Wow. Hey, doesn't seem to achieve much, but I'll probably find out what it's for later on, now that I have built up a coherent picture of things. No. So much to find out about, so much to look forward to. I'm dizzy with anticipation. Or is it the wind? Hey, there really is a lot of that now, isn't there? And wow, what's this thing suddenly coming toward me very fast? Very, very fast. So big and flat and wide, it needs a big, wide-sounding word like, ow, round, ground. That's it, ground. I wonder if it will be friendly.
Curiously enough, the only thing that went through the mind of the boy as it fell was, oh, never not again. Many have speculated that if we knew exactly why a bowl of petunias had thought this, that we should know a lot more about the nature of the universe than we do now. Meanwhile, the starship was landed on the surface of Magrathea, and Trillian is about to make one of the most important statements of her life. Its importance not immediately recognized by her companions.
Hey! My white mice have escaped!
Oh, who cares about your white mice?
It is possible that Trillian's observation would have commanded greater attention had it been generally realized that the human beings were only the 3rd most intelligent life form on planet Earth, instead of, as was generally thought by most independent observers, the 2nd.
Alright, run atmospheric checks on the planet.
Are we taking this robot?
Don't feel you have to take any notice of me, please.
Oh, Marvin the paranoid android? Yeah, we'll take him.
What are we supposed to do with a manically depressed robot?
You think you've got problems. What are you supposed to do if you are a manically depressed robot? Never mind, don't answer that. I'm 50,000 times more intelligent than you, and even I don't know the answer. It gives me a headache just trying to think down to your level.
What's the result?
Babe, it's okay, but it smells a bit.
Alright, everybody, let's go.
Good afternoon, boys.
What's that?
Oh, that's just the computer. I discovered it had an emergency backup personality, which I thought might be a little bit better.
Now this is going to be your first day on a strange planet, so I want you all wrapped up, snug and warm, and no playing with any naughty bug-eyed monsters.
Oh, Jesus. I think we might have been better off with the slide rule.
Right, who said that?
Will you open the exit hatch, please, computer?
Not until whoever said that owns up.
Oh, God.
Come on. Computer.
Come on.
Computer.
I'm waiting. I can wait all day if necessary.
Computer. If you don't open that exit hatch this moment, I shall go straight to your major databanks with a very, very large axe and give you a reprogramming you will never forget. Is that clear?
I can see this relationship as something we're all going to have to work at.
Thank you. Let's go.
It'll all end in tears, I know it.
Say, Fod, are you sure you know what you're doing? We've been attacked once already, you know.
Okay, look, I promise you, the live population of this planet is nobody plus us four.
And 2 white mice.
And, okay, white mice, if you insist.
Come on, let's go if we're going.
Yeah, hey, Earthman?
Arthur?
Yeah, could you just sort of keep this robot with you? And, guard this end of the passageway?
Guard? From whom? You just said that no one else is here.
Yeah, it's a really important safety thing. It's for safety.
For whose safety? Yours or mine?
Yeah, you know what? Let's go, guys. Come on.
Well, I hope you all have a really, 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 really miserable time.
Don't worry, they will.
Interior cave.
This is really spooky.
Look at all this. Galleries of derelict equipment just lying about. Does anyone know what happened to this place in the end? Why did the Magrathians die out?
I don't know. Maybe they were looking for something to do.
If I had 2 heads like you, Zaphod, I could have hours of fun banging them against the wall.
Hey, shine the torch over there.
What, there?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we aren't the first beings to go down this corridor, correct?
What are you talking about?
Look, fresh mouse droppings.
Oh, God, those fucking mice, man.
What's the light down the corridor?
Dude, it's just a reflection. Don't worry about it.
There's definitely something happening down there.
No.
Oh, I don't know. Listen!
Stay tuned. Please attend the next Jules.
Scene 5, narrator, exterior service.
Exterior service. With you.
Night's falling. Look, robot, the stars are coming out.
I know. Wretched, isn't it?
But that sunset that was there, I've never seen anything like it in my wildest dreams. Those 2 suns, it was like mountains of fire boiling into space.
I've seen it. It's rubbish.
We only ever had the one sun at home, and I come from a planet called Earth, you know.
I know, you keep going on about it. It sounds awful.
No, Earth was a beautiful place.
Did it have oceans?
Yes, great wide rolling oceans, blue oceans.
I can't bear oceans.
Tell me, do you get on well with other robots?
Hate them. Where are you going?
I think I'll just take a little walk.
I don't blame you.
Stay tuned. Please attend the next Julesworks Follies to see what will happen to Marvin and Arthur on their walk. Who will they encounter? Where did Ford and Zaphod and Trillian go off to? Will they ever be nice to Jules? Who will Eddie sound like next time? And come prepared to try our own pan-galactic gargle blaster right here at Jean Cocteau. We continue to flip-flop the day of the week we show falls on, with our October show being on the next Tuesday? Yeah, Tuesday. Right before Halloween.
Not next.
Yeah.
Last Tuesday of the month.
You'll never volunteer in this town again.
And for 30 days, our next show will be our first Monday. So come to burn more brain cells with the rest of us, especially me.
Nice sound effects.